Live. Ryan, we're live. We got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Some of the stuff we have is terrible luck with computers. I don't know if people who watch this have noticed or not yet. If you haven't noticed, you don't pay attention. The internet connectivity, Ryan, looks pretty good. I feel like your face it's clear, it's moving, so that's fun. Ryan, we have a couple things today. Maybe it's just an AI Ryan image. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris's AI campaign. Tim Walz, who is the Kamala Harris VP pick. I don't think we really even talked about Tim Walz. Surprise if you don't pay attention, but Tim Walz is going to be the VP of a candidate nobody voted for. He's the VP of a VP, so he's the VVP. I don't know what that would make him. The United Kingdom is jamming people for social media posts, including they're coming for us. We'll touch on that. Susan Wojcicki, I think that's how you said it. The old YouTube CEO has died, so of course we're all very sad here. Joe Rogan has not really endorsed, but some people think it endorsed RFK Jr., so we're going to talk about that. As always, we're going to be doing Ryan's record like we do every week. We will comment live with you on air through the live chats, and we'll probably do some inappropriately timed ad reads. Ryan, before we get going into Kamala Harris's AI campaign, do you have anything that you wanna say?
Just don't put the ad over my face, please. And Russell Brand.
I will do my best. Well, Harry.
And Russell Brand is my spirit animal. That's all I got.
Ryan, the ad is really confusing. An S left screen, right screen, and sometimes you do the L and the R, it just gets messed up. Hello, Buff Mike. Buff Mike is clarified, by the way, in past episodes that he is Mike because he is Buffalo Mike and not because he is jacked from the gym. Mike, if that's still the case, let us know. Or if you have moved and you are now ripped from the gym, either way, you're still one in the chat, Mike.
Yeah, one in the chat. Oh, we got to talk about Mr. Beast too. I heard there was something, David.
Buff Mike.
What?
There's always something with Mr. Beast. Never anything with Chris Tyson. I don't know what thing did you hear about Mr. Beast?
There's other people.
Eve has watched. Eve is responsible for Beast Watch. She has been. There's more people. What?
More pedos, bro.
More pedos who work for Mr. Beast?
Yeah, groomers close to
him. Okay, got it.
I guess we talked about it.
Buff Mike says he's got a father figure.
Who, Mr. Beast or
that's
Buff
good,
Mike?
I guess. I don't know what that's related to, but good. Glad you have a father figure, Mike. Are you? But Buff Mike said that. I don't know if you're watching two live streams at once. I don't know what you're referring to, but I appreciate you having a father.
I have a father.
We know he's white, I suppose.
Close the Pornhub tab.
He's can refer to us as Daddy, Buff Mike. I don't think Buff Mike's going to like us this week because we're going to be talking about Kamala Harris's AI campaign, and this is a conspiracy, Ryan. I will note this is all a big conspiracy, and we don't know that this is true. Okay, is that a fair enough thing that we're saying? Can we put that? This is the photo that set it off. I will put it very minusculely at the center of the screen for everyone to see. This is the photo that set everything off. This is, by the way, this is a photo from an event that was a video. So this is a screenshot from a video. It is the TARM is one with Harris coming off of it. Maybe Tim Walz is there. I'm not sure. This was in Detroit. And as you can see from this small little snippet, this is from like I said, from a video, but there is a massive audience. Kamala Harris is very well loved and adored, and nobody should question it. But the thing with this picture, Ryan, there's two things. We really do it here because we have Rumble technology, which I'm very appreciative to Rumble, allowing free speech. We'll get into UK who doesn't. But a little bit more control would be nice. So on this very small picture, if you were to zoom in, Ryan, these people are holding cell phones. Presumably, they are recording the event. By the way, I've challenge, and I've asked anyone who has personally gone to a Kamala Harris rally, and you have a photo or video that you took of the crowd size, I would love to see it. You can send it to us. You can follow us on
Well, clearly, David, have
on X. Ryan's at Wallace. So if you want to find him, send him a picture or video of you at the Kamala Harris rally with the large crowd.
yeah, I'll be there with a 223 round on top of a building, not being stopped or asked any questions on why I'm up there. Because clearly that's standard.
Right?
operating
Nope.
procedure.
Nope. Ryan, you are going to jail in the UK. You can't say that.
Fuck that,
Send
Dave.
Ryan
They
the
can
video
jail
of the picture
me.
that you
They
took, because
can't.
the reason I say that,
Can't
Ryan,
jail
you
me.
can't
There's no
make terrorists.
jury of my peers. David, it's not terrorist attack. It's called a joke,
Like
David.
threats on their show.
It's not a terrorist attack. It only happened to one side of the political aisle.
Mike,
so
are
far.
you Ryan in the chat? I think, have we red pilled Mike? Mike says it's definitely AI. There's no reflection on the plane engine. I'm glad you see it our way, Mike. So he alluded to this, but I also saw this. If you look at the phones where everyone is recording the event, you can't see like the thing that people would see if they were standing there recording it. There's no plane on the camera. There's not Kamala Harris on the camera. So on the camera phone screen, you can't see the event. But as he pointed out, if you look at the reflection on the plane, it's bare tarmac. There's no people. Where's the people? Did Kamala Harris pay vampires to attend her rally? Reflection. I was trying to get off the screen. I don't know if I did or didn't. I did. I didn't want to block us forever, Ryan, with that picture.
Dave, I'm going to tell you this right now. Do you remember when Trump would go places and they would be like, "Oh, there's not that many people there"? Do you remember? You remember? And
but
he
like
would
people
have,
we know have actually went there.
yeah, like you and I went and seen him get inaugurated, and it flipped the script when he would show a picture of the crowd from his angle. I just find it ironic that now here we are in the Kamala Harris campaign trying to justify how popular she is by guessing if artificial intelligent images may or may have not been used or some kind of filter. Now, Mr. Tim Pool, David, of course, the cutting edge journalist on the internet, obviously, high caliber degree, Tim Pool over there on his X account, shared a video of what that still image screenshot was taken from. And at least from the mainstream media sourced video feed, David, it looks as if it was a very popular place. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Yeah, wherever the picture is. That picture that's circulating that they're questioning whether or not it's artificial intelligent generated imagery. There is a video of it on Tim Pool's X account. The point. First of all, Tim Pool's an idiot to think that the idea that they don't have the technology to even fake it. Like, if you're really not there, you don't really know. Like you said, David, Matt Drudge told Alex Jones like 10 years ago that we're all our own independent journalists now and we can all break the news and all that shit. And it's all literally here. We have live feeds of our phone to the entire internet and the entire hashtag library. That's literally what So imagine if the Trump shooter only had official narratives and there was no cell phone footage to kind of contradict some of the official narratives that were coming out in real time. Like, imagine what would happen if we didn't have private third-party cell phone videos. Now, show me the third-party cell phone videos of these, because people can't help but fucking take photographs. I mean, hell, half of these elections have hashtags on the pamphlets. They have hashtags. They have follow us on Instagram. They have share your vote. They have all these and I find it ironic that the thing, America's democracy and republic is vested on a very system that is all plugged into something that's hackable. We just seen a few months that all the airplanes had to get landed. The train stopped working because of the largest data breach that ever happened because of a quote software update. But we're tying our elections, we're tying all of our metrics, we're tying our entire future on metrics that are tied into the thing that is hackable. I know I'm getting off into the weeds, but the point is like whether or not they're fake or not, don't get it twisted.
Dominion lied that the voting machine Ethernet cables. Just think about that.
Well, David, clearly things can't be Wi-Fi activated from a van outside your house with a little resistor fucking accelerator or whatever they call in a van.
They literally were questioned, do these connect to the internet? And they're like, no. And they said, well, what about there's an Ethernet cable? And they're like, oh yeah, maybe they do. It's just for software though. Of course, it was software. It's always software.
I'm just going to tell you this right now, people. They can tell what buttons you push on your laptop keys by the sound the keyboard makes, and they relate it through your Wi-Fi signals like reverse sonar, and they're able to tell what button and what keystrokes, and they know what words you make based on the keystrokes and how long it takes in between each button press, and they can spell out the words. Of course the voting machines, David, have a goddamn Ethernet cable. The thing is a fucking robot with Imperial probe droid technology built in. Darth Vader apparatus. It's ran by the Emperor Palpatine as the operating system. It's called Palantir, like the thing fucking Slipknot, the thing that Saruman holds in Lord of the Rings. Look, don't get it twisted. They can import, they can ship people there, they can pay people to be there for the day. Don't think that don't happen. Also, with how big the government is, all those people have a job if there's bigger government. You know what I mean? Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility to just think that most of these guys are just useful idiots at a police station or the FBI buildings or the DMVs, or they're at all these organizations that their main income is tied to the growth of government and the funding of government, all their raises and them wanting to make more money is based on the fact that government has to grow in order enough for them to have the excess revenue to pay you more. I don't even necessarily...
I mean, to that point, Biden literally, with the stroke of a pen, hired 80,000 people for the IRS alone over his at once.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this whole AI campaign thing is like, it's just a beautiful synopsis of like the thing we're actually battling. Like what we're worried about the crowd size of her events when she's obviously unpopular. The country, obviously, whether or not it's going in the right direction or the wrong direction on who's in power, where it is currently is not where it was, and it's not good. Like, most people I know are saying the same. Everything's expensive. Everything, like, that is the... Kamala Harris is saying when we get elected, we're going to roll up our sleeves, as if these people have not been in power already. The problem is we can't even talk about policy because that era of government that they used to talk about policy before they smokescreen you is over. They don't even get the policy anymore. Kamala Harris hasn't even released a list of policies. And
you know what's funny to that point?
Doesn't mean you have credentials for presidency. That I don't think those things pair very well.
Ryan, I don't know if you know the Krasnsteins or Steins or whatever the fuck it is, but they're others. They're, I wouldn't say popular, but they're on X and the big time Kamala Harris fans. One of them said, Kamala Harris has said that she's going to release her policy platform within 2 weeks. I mean, this is amazing. Usually it takes months to have these kinds of things released, but like at no point in his own mind was he like teed off by the fact like, oh yeah, maybe that is suspicious that they can immediately have a policy package on the ready for when this person is swapped out. Now, it would be easy enough to say, but they don't want to say that, oh yeah, she has a policy package ready because duh, she's the VP for the Biden administration. It's the same. They're not going to say that because he was wildly unpopular. They're going to wheel her across the line. They're going to, like they did in 20, but they've learned from their mistakes. They're going from them. They knew Biden, it was suspicious that Biden was the most elected man on earth because there was no evidence that he would have been the most elected man on earth. He held rallies that had like literally 7 or 8 people standing in marked circles because of COVID and they didn't want to stand, too close.
Yes.
He had rallies of less than 10 people. I mean, that is crazy. That is not a man who is the most elected. So what do they got to do? They have to build this super campaign that mirrors Trump's campaigns. So it almost says that she would win with such a high amount of votes. They're getting smarter. Yes. The AI is learning. Right?
Yes. Yes, because the juxtaposition to Biden at that time was that Trump has this massive turnout and Biden has barely any turnout. So now if the turnout's the same, what does that say about you? You're just unpopular, Trump. Now, granted, I'm not saying these people are fake. They're not fake AI imagery, because believe me, if you do not think they will pay people to go to a government rally and stand there and act, you're an idiot. Okay, we're talking about everybody's 401ks. We're talking about pension funds. We're talking about trillions of dollars in the stock market of baby boomers that are going to die and be inherited. Like the amount of wealth, the power, the military, the space apparatus, the spy grid, the information in Silicon Valley. You're telling me that that's like what's at the stake here. Like these people will do whatever they want to do to get what they want. And they have all the funding. George Soros will fund any of these people. Whether or not it's really George Soros or not is irrelevant. People like George Soros do fund these things. It's not an opinion. You can trace the money. MoveOn.org, that sponsored Bernie Sanders campaign, was mostly funded by George Soros. Whether or not it's a good or bad thing doesn't matter. That's the fact of it. The idea that don't happen is crazy. And back to your policy point, David, the reason that they're really not releasing a policy of Kamala Harris that I've not seen anybody talk about, they're all saying the same kind of relative line, that it's incompetency and that this just proves she's unfit. And there could be a degree of that, I believe. But what it really is they need to pull long enough to able to establish a package so that they can sell their bullshit and learn how to frame their message so that they can get the votes, because they know what they already have. Obama said we're going to fundamentally change America. They know what they're doing. The problem is they have to sell you on what they're doing. And we've talked about on this program, it's called the Overton window. It's a fucking political term made by political think tanks in Washington, D.C., like at least 20 years ago. So this isn't Ryan's conspiracy theorist YouTube. This is like literally a political tactic they use, okay? People just don't realize it because you actually think these people are really dumb enough. Like you said, Dave, these people are learning from their thing. Well, yeah, not only are they learning from their thing, but it's they knew that to begin with. Like they knew in 2020 that Biden was going to barely get by the seat of his pants, whether or not they had rallies. They thought they could push it. Whatever the narrative was then, it doesn't matter. They know exactly what they're doing. It's not a joke. The communists have stolen elections for longer than there's been America. Collectivism is really what we're fighting. It's not even a capitalism thing anymore. It's freedom and not freedom. And not freedom has existed way longer legally than freedom. End of discussion. These bastards will cheat and steal. They will employ people. They will ship in illegal immigrants. They will tell coworkers that you will be fired, or that you won't get invited to my kid's birthday party unless you go down to the Kamala Harris rally. And if you don't think that happens, I have a bridge in Buffalo to sell you. But they have to wait 2 weeks because they have to develop the talking points. They have to get people distracted so that they have all their data to draw and be like, okay, here's how we're going to label the abortion debate. This is how we're going to label immigration, because now they're already ahead of all the things that are to come from the Trump campaign when he starts trying to rip apart the policies. Because that's what rational, right, David, back to the old school way of thinking politics. You used to look at the policy and be like, this doesn't work, this don't work. And people would talk about that. We don't care about that anymore. We don't care.
Well, don't
about
forget
that.
my biggest. Well, no, I wouldn't say my biggest. One of my big criticisms of Trump early on, and this was in 2016 when he was first running, was he had, you know this, Ryan. He had no policy package. He was a man. He was a personality. He was trying to fight the world and and that's fine. And that's what gathered most of support. Not that about him, but it's like, okay, but show me, like on paper, what are you going to do about it? You're going to say you're going to fight, the tyrants. You say you're going to drain the swamp. You say all these things, but like, what are you actually going to do? And that's when he gave that. I don't remember what the
Gettysburg. It was at Gettysburg.
He gave that speech that really drove home policy. Yes, Trump's Gettysburg Address. That's right.
Yeah, that's actually what.
Yeah.
When that happened, Dave, because I'm literally a still never Trumper. The only like as far as like the whole when you look at the rise of politics, the reason I literally defend him is they hate this guy, and I just love that he's out there burning everybody. I fucking love it. I love it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Just run him over. But that was when I heard that because right after that, Dave, he actually had a policy. I think his promise in the first 100 days or something, and it was like to get lobbyists out of there. He was going to make it illegal for 10 years, and he actually had like concrete things that were like, okay, now because what was the always thing in the right is that people on the right tend to care more about the policies, not all the culture war stuff, which now we're seeing the cultural Marxism. This is what I mean. We don't care about policy anymore. We care about the culture impact of it, which is the cultural Marxism aspect, which is what the left has mastered. But like, in 16, when he gave that address, it allowed us to like really look at his policy because we were always in the old school way of thinking that we need to have some kind of policy to even believe in this character. But now it's obviously with the attention economy, like the Insta economy. Like what you need to be able to do is sway large groups of people. You almost need to be polarizing, and you can't be polarizing on purpose because then you're not like. This is part of the problem about in politics, especially where they play catch up because they're not out there. They're not out there driving the narrative. They're out there they're rebuking the narrative. Like Trump's message in a lot of his problems is that he doesn't get ahead of things. He's always on the defense. And the way you get ahead of things is just fucking run them over. I mean, I've never ran a campaign, but I would imagine there's no difference between this and playing telephone. Like just fucking run them over. And you would think that these campaigns would employ people that like do nothing but sit on the internet and listen to Alex Jones. Not as this is what I'm saying, like not as that you listen to the conspiracy theorists, but why don't campaigns have conspiracy theorists on their payroll? Like, I don't get why this isn't like a skill set, like a monetized skill set in politics. I mean, Fidel Castro made the trains run on time. You know, what are we talking about? Or is that Mussolini? See, I don't even know anymore.
Well, I'm sure they all had trains. Our trains just killed the Asian slaves. It's fine. There's billions of them. It's fine. You know, you said you were talking about
just
policy
promoting
and
genocide, David, because there's too many people.
Well, I wasn't promoting. I was just noting it that it happened, and then I also may have commented that it doesn't matter so much because there's billions of them. I'm not saying I'm calling for it. I'm just saying there's a lot of them. So like, you know. Yeah, you're not gonna miss them. You say politics and culture. Famously, I think Drew Bart had said that politics is downstream of culture. So you're 100%. They tie into each other. It's like culture transforms everything, right? And then politics tries to get involved, and that almost feeds back into culture. It's kind of a weird thing. Culture is everything, honestly, especially right now. We're watching how absolutely destroyed our national culture is, and you know something's got to change, and that is truthfully, it's the only thing that I like about Trump. Like, quite frankly, it's the only thing because he is focused on the idea that our nation is absolutely shattered culturally right now.
Yeah, and the thing really is not even, you know, to think anything else is if you look at the other playbook in some aspects when they say like gender is a construct of society, it's a social contract, it's a obligation for us to believe. Language is the same thing. They say it's just like a barrier to imperialism, and they say all these other things. Like most people, like Jordan Peterson actually was like one that has always, that's where he gained notoriety, was like the Section 12 on college campuses that they have to by law direct somebody to not misgender them. And the point is, like, you think it's a silly thing to get caught up in, but the thing is like they've already, when they say that gender is a social construct, they're already telling you by default that they're focusing on the thing that influences everything else. Because what they're actually doing is moving the terms and the way that biology has been viewed, which hasn't happened in like 100 years since the invention of like magnifying glasses and microscopes. Right, when we were able to, because they used to just draw everything on a magnifying glass, but you know, we still had, like, the scientific method has always been around. My point is just like these people know that when they start dismantling words and changing language, or when they make you hyperfixate on things, or they impregnate music, or they impregnate movies with the DEI and all the other stuff. And I'm not even painting this as a scapegoat.
Brian, that's, you can't say that. You can't say DEI. That's the N word.
No, that's why we have DEI, David. So that there is no more N words. Well, my point is, I'm not even saying those organizations are set up to only employ black people. Those may actually work. Like, in some scenarios, you may actually need DEI to get. I get that. I'm not against cultural diverse work. I'm not against that. The thing is the way that it's systematized and implemented is by design, because they have told you they're cultural Marxists. And if you don't know what that is, go look it up. And if you think it doesn't matter, that you do, like the idea that this is a whole part of the Marxism thing is like, oh, it doesn't matter. Politics don't matter. They don't care about me. They do care about you, and they want you to think that they don't. That's why they're Marxists. Like, the people trying to have conversation with you are like regular people that like are your civilians and your populated, like they're your friends and neighbors and coworkers. They're not evil people. But these people hyperfixate on things. They know exactly how to do it. And this is part to piggyback in the Harris thing. The polling numbers of her saying that she could win and that she's got a 49% odds and all the Vegas. You don't think this is Operation Mockingbird. This is fucking cross-spectrum dominance. This is gaslighting at a mathematical level, at a graphical level, at a Photoshop level, like literally the Photoshop graphics that are dopamine receptor rich to make you believe the screen, because they know the screen omits a hypersonic flicker that mimics REM sleep in your brain to keep you asleep. And this isn't conspiracy. This is known facts.
What's that called? The blue screen effect or something?
That's why there's blue screen glasses, David. It was just a conspiracy 10 years ago. They now make fucking glasses for it. Don't worry about that. They've just been soft mind controlling you because it's paid television programming by the very Pfizer company that is killing people. But it's not death, because it's only myocarditis and pre-existing condition. The point is these people know exactly how to dismantle the very system that we're in. It's actually what they do. They're trained. This isn't they're trained for this. They know all those graphics.
I want to get to a chat real quick, but I want to
has been leading the polls in 7 states, in 7 key states. This is them stealing the election by default, by omission, by propaganda. This is election meddling, literally. Those aren't real polls. You're telling me you have all the states figured out in a mock election trial based on polls? Shut the fuck up. How can you have those poll numbers be that way, but the last time that Biden won, it was in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. and it defied all laws of polling? The last guy won by a mathematical anomaly with a straight line and a fucking bar graph. How could you couldn't pull that? You can't pull those numbers. What are you going off of? The Facebook searches, David? The Google searches? So you're using Silicon Valley to come up with the poll number. And then we're going to use the poll number on Silicon Valley's products with the dopamine-rich receptors on all these fucking apps, David, to tell you that Kamala Harris has an equal shot of winning Donald Trump. Even though I just watched one guy 3 weeks ago almost get assassinated and we fucking forgot about it. I looked at him today.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to a chat. I'm gonna get to a chat real quick, but hey, real quick. just for anyone who might be in denial about the fact, even some people are in denial for different reasons. Some say the AI technology isn't good enough yet to build that, which is craziness. We've talked about on the show how the military is always 10 years ahead of everybody else. If AI imagery exists to the common man, don't doubt for a second that you could have AI on the spot CGI. I mean,
I came on this fucking program and said the
fact
military
that
general,
absurd. They
David,
literally do
of
it in
the
Holland.
United
There's no way they're not going to do it.
The United States military general said that it is artificially intelligent generated photography will be a, quote, problem in the future for Intel, and they won't be able to rely on digital assets. That's what the military already said. It's not good enough to steal a political campaign. It's not good enough for the military to verify it, though. The military has to send an asset. It's been $1 million to send Jocko Willing and a group of people to verify a fucking image. You're out of your mind. The image, Tim Pool, you idiot. You don't think they'll fake the video? That was a conspiracy with the 9/11. It's easier to fake shittier, grainier 8-megapixel camera, David. You don't think they have shit higher than 1080, than 4K, than 80K resolution in the military? Guys are idiots. It took Tucker Carlson 30 years to admit that the government might be involved in shady behavior. But I'm supposed to go to him to believe that they're not doing this. The military, David, said that this was going to be a problem. Of course it's a problem. I don't believe them not wanting me to talk about the AI-generated image makes me believe it's an AI-generated image. But then I'm just told by Silicon Valley I'm the crazy one. But everything's baked into them lying to me. So what do I know? I'm sorry, bro. The military admitted that this is a problem.
So there's those people who think that it's not possible, and then there's the people who think that they wouldn't do this kind of thing even if it was possible. But let's not forget, we reported on the story forever ago, back when it was Twitter, I think, Joe Biden's Twitter account was like 2/3 bots, right? That was the report. I don't remember the exact number, so maybe 2/3 is wrong. Sorry. It's all the things we talk about on the show to remember the exact amount of bots that was Joe Biden's. It was a considerable number. Okay, let's just say that. A considerable number of Biden's followers were bot accounts. So the idea that they wouldn't use bots, fake it till you make it, right? The idea that they wouldn't use bots to make them look popular is absurd. Of course they used bots. Of course they're using AI. Of course they're stealing the election again. Of course. It's not conspiracy. It's obvious when you have your eyes open. I want to get back to a chat though, because we were talking about culture. Mike had made it's a good question. He says, which culture, because there's too many to list, and is one culture more important than another? I'll answer the second question, Ryan, if you want to answer the first. Yes, some cultures are more important than others. Sorry, I think some cultures are more valuable than cultures that literally throw gay people off of roofs. You can be anti-gay marriage, and we can have the discussion and the debate openly. That's fine. I think we can all agree that you can't throw gay people off of roofs. All right. So yes, some cultures are better than other cultures. Ryan, which culture are we referring to when we say culture?
Culture, what I mean by that is the shared melting pot history that the European and the Greco-Roman Empire had built and left on the world, what we know today as Western culture, the West, Western Europe, like that, the Enlightenment, the Age of Discovery, the space race, like the nuclear age. The shared culture I'm talking about is like that.
Would you say it has foundings? This is part of his chat too, but would you say that this Western culture that you're talking about has foundings in religion? Christianity, probably more specifically.
I mean, it's your personal beliefs aren't relevant. Dave, you have the document behind you. It says we're all endowed by unalienable rights by our Creator. America's the religion. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the culture of America, that idea never existed
in all of human history. So if you're going to ask me which culture is most important, it's the one that at the very tippy tip top, and the tippy tip top of our culture is the founding documents of our society, which is the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Okay, and if you look further, the Magna Carta, and if you look further, you go to the Bible and Hammurabi's Law. That's what I mean. Like, the West is stacked on like 10,000 years of culture. That's why we all celebrate Christmas, people. No one finds it. All 50 states, there's Halloween. Just because you're Polish and he's German and you eat pierogi and he eats fucking wonton. Like, America's the religion. But the greatest societies ever built in the history of forever, this is historical, is the ones that put ideas like that we're all created with unalienable rights and that we're all endowed with certain ones of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that there's actually guaranteed that, once again, the Bill of Rights is a guarantee right. It's a contract from the government to its civilians. The thought of that never existed. So yeah, it's the best. It's okay that it's the best. I'm not saying that we're the best today because we have terrible school number, our homeless problems, our debt. Yeah. But the problem is that we have lost the religious culture, and the religious culture I mean in particular is the American one. That you fucking keep and earn what you make. You help your neighbor, right? You do unto others as you would do to yourself. All those things that are the idioms, man. Hard work pays off. Tell me how we all understand that saying, treat others how you want to be treated. You tell that to your kids. I tell my kid all the idioms. I barely understand them, but I tell them to her, and she knows when to say them to me. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, Dad. She tells me that. How do we understand that as people? My kid's not even old enough to know what that means, but she knows when to use it. Oh, well, it's just subjunctive programming. By what? Where does all that come from? Just the idea of that. This is the crazy thing. People think you're just like, we're born this way. You were born in the best place ever. Be proud of that. I don't know what's so hard about that. You're proud of when you work hard. You're proud of when you get a promotion at your job. You're proud of when your kids are successful. You're proud of when your family does well. You're proud when you buy a house. You're proud when you get your first real car. You're proud of all this shit. Be proud of the country you live in. And that's why, if you're proud of your country, that's why the negatives matter more. Because you're proud of this place and you want everybody to do great. What's so hard to understand about that? But we have leeches and thieves. Freedom, when you have the freest place ever, it's going to welcome the worst of people. Because freedom inadvertently allows for the filth. This is the Garden of Eden thing. Why is the snake in the Garden of Eden? This is a prime example. Why would God put temptation in front of the first man? And then when he told them, don't eat the apple, why would you give them the apple to throw them out of the garden, Dave? That don't even make sense. Well, is it freedom if you can't make a bad decision? Is that if you have no ability to make bad decisions, is that freedom or is that control? The freedom really means that you have the right to make every decision, good, bad, indifferent, grander, lesser. It doesn't matter. Freedom is all options. That's why evil exists. That's the whole, right? People dismantle God. Why would cancer exist? Well, if there's healthy people, there has to be unhealthy people. Because healthy people wouldn't exist if unhealthy people existed. Like, without one, there is no other. Without yin, there is no yang. And dark and light and all these dumb, once again, the fucking idioms we tell our kids. Do you realize the cross, the image of the cross, when you look at like neurons at the microscopic level, you know what shape they make, David? Is a cross. So the culture I'm referencing is Western ideology built on the Greco-Roman ideology, later turning into, people don't want to admit this, Judeo-Christian values. And if you don't think that you're a little bit Christian, you're wrong. The idea that if you think slavery and racism is bad, you're a Christian basically by default. Like that, oh, there's slavery in the Bible, David. Do you know who freed the slaves in America? Serious question. It was Christian abolitionists. So yeah,
I think that answers
the,
it. That
the
answers it well.
foundation of the
That's why I gave
country
you the
is-
first one.
Yeah, it's founded on Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian values and Western. Do you realize the only reason that we can all go to Polish Fest and everything is because we all share a similar culture. We all share the same kind of holidays. Go play the Assassin's Creed games. Seriously, they show you in the game how these cultures smash together. We all share the same thing. It's fucking wild, man. We put those documents at the head of our society. It's not a king's opinion. It's not because of birthright or nobility. That's not what is at the tip of our society. It's not somebody's word. It's not a religious text. The Bible is not the tip of our society. It's the Constitution, the rule of law, the natural rule of law, the things that is baked into that, which is influenced by the Bible, yes, but it's not the Bible. Separation of church and state. Yeah, that just means that the state can't tell the Bible what to do, basically. You can't tell the churches what to do. But the church can influence the state. Not corruptly, but if the people in the state are religious, their laws are probably going to be more religious. This is like people, we're looking at the wrong shit. These people are stealing your country because you don't know your culture, because you were told it didn't matter, because you were told it was bad. But just read the Constitution. They have books that have all this shit in there. Their pocket constitutions that have all this, why it's important, is in there. This has been known by scholarships for forever. This is what they debated when they made the country and made the documents. This is the stuff they debated. You don't like it's just Veep Ben Shapiro that they came up with the greatest stuff ever. It's just Veep. It happened by accident. You know how hard, like, America barely got found. This isn't the podcast for that, David. I'm sorry, but I appreciate the question, Mike. Like, it's worth taking the time because people don't know. And I am not a historian or a scholar, but I am a patriot. I love my country, and I've studied this. Like, I've learned more than like the average person about this because you always hear the same things about America. It's this evil place founded, and it's wrong. It's a lie. It's wrong. It's wrong. Most societies never feel guilty for their history, ever. They have never felt guilty. We have the luxury to feel sorry for slavery. That doesn't happen historically. And then you shame me for it to vote for a black person that can't run a fucking, she barely balance a checkbook.
Well, I mean,
she can be black and Indian, David. I understand how
black,
sex works, people. Believe me, that was
Jamaican Indian.
That was crazy.
Well, she's like 7 things.
Yeah, so am I. We're still American. We're American.
Well, you're just white.
I don't care anymore. Jesus Christ. Well, she's a black trans fucking ass.
You're just white, right?
Like, you guys just got to be the first to everything. We just can't leave it alone. I want people to be judged on the content of their character, not their skin color. That's all.
She's shattering all the ceilings.
Just all shattering all the ceilings.
Color.
Well, there's only ceilings, David, because we're putting them there. We're telling you there's a ceiling there. It didn't exist before, but we have to put it there. The first Indian president.
She's gonna shatter it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rant.
Oh man, that should have been Vivek.
Yeah, Trump dropped
let's
the
get
ball,
to bro. Tim. Sure did. Let's get to Tim Walz. JD Vance is fucking weird. I will say I don't agree with people on the left frequently, but one thing I will give you this point. JD Vance is fucking weird. He is fucking weird. I give you this. He is weird. He literally out loud, out of the blue, was like, "Yeah, I used to fuck couches." You're like, "All right, just maybe stop talking."
I can't believe he
Tim
said
Walz.
That. I still think this is fake.
Well, why wouldn't you just randomly everyone fuck couch? Let's get to Tim Walz, who is Kamala Harris's also weird VP pick. JD Vance is weird. He used to fuck couches, but what he didn't do was lie about being in war. Stolen valor is a term that immediately comes to mind. I clear. I'm not always a fan of prefacing things, but I do want to preface this. I have nothing but respect for people who served in our military at any level at all. Like if you were in any branch of the military doing anything, I don't care if you just cleaned the clothes for the people who went to war. I appreciate your. I really do. What I don't like is when people pretend that they were, battle proven soldiers when they weren't, and when all they did was go to camp and hand fucking
couches,
slop out to the soldiers. So Tim Walz, hold on, I'll just bring up very small in the middle of the screen the CNN article. Walz, quote, misspoke in saying he served in war, says the Harris campaign. I've misspoken before. Usually it's like try to say something gibberish. That's like misspeaking. Like you stumble over your own words. Mike says if I grew a beard, I'd look like JD. Yeah, that's why I have a mustache. I don't want everyone thinking I walk around fucking couches. I've misspoken before. What a misspeak is.
Fucking couches.
I said
so...
Walz, and what I meant to say was Harris. Oops, my fault. Walz said he served in war. Okay, that isn't misspeaking. The truth is, Walz had retired from military. But he retired before Iraq happened. Okay, he retired knowing Iraq was going to happen. By the way, so I'm not shit talking him, but he saw Iraq coming and said, "Fuck that, I'm out." So he retired before Iraq happened, and then he tried to claim that he was at war. Just don't do it. Just do it. Just don't say you were at war. Just say I served our country faithfully in the military for 30 years or however long it was. I don't know. Just say I served faithfully and I retired and I'm everyone will respect you for being in the military. Don't say you went to war. That's the beef. That's the beef. And everyone on cover is covering, of course, because that's what they do. But the media is running around saying that he misspoke. He didn't misspeak. He lied. He lied. That's called a lie, CNN. That's not misspeaking. He said he served in war because he wanted to seem like a badass military veteran, and he wasn't. He was just a respectable military veteran. That's fine. Don't fucking lie. Don't lie. That's all. Ryan, you can put in 2 cents about this, but that's it. That's just literally don't lie about going to war. Seems pretty straightforward. If I were to come on here and tell everyone I went to war when I didn't, I'd be a piece of shit. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's a piece of shit. I'm just saying I would be a
Dave, you're just misspeaking.
Piece of shit if I did that, and maybe you could draw a conclusion.
Just misspeaking.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I was actually the person who shot Hitler. That was me. Hitler didn't kill himself. It was me.
Tell me how the party that can't have a presidential candidate not giggle her ass off and have policy, their VP pick can't talk without misspeaking and lying, and the guy that they replaced couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, is going to be competent enough to run the country.
Well, don't worry, Ryan. It's in the hands of people much more competent than them.
The more. Of course. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Look. The more I see stuff like this, they will steal the election in the middle of the night again. I need a second. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, they're prepping for that. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. That's what's coming. There's no doubt. They are prepping to steal the election again. That's why they're using AI. That's why they're using bot accounts. That's why they're using misspeaking as well, because they're trying to make this seem legit. Are you says Trump has never said some BS? No, Trump's a 1,000% bullshitter. Let's just for the record, he is a 1,000% bullshitter. He hasn't necessarily gone along those lines, but he does bullshitting from a capitalistic marketing standpoint, whereas everything he's done has always been the best, the biggest, the greatest. That's Trump's way of BSing. It's a little bit different than blatant lies. It's more of trying to pat yourself on the back. That's kind of how I see Trump's BSing, at least from my standpoint. That's the way I see it. But I don't know, Mike, maybe you disagree, but to me, that's been Trump's way of BSing. Maybe you see it differently than me, but I think it's different to come out and flat out lie as it is to embellish upon yourself to make yourself look a little bit better than you are. Maybe you could make the case that that's what Tim Walz was doing, but the fact is he didn't. The difference is if I were to do the Tim Walz thing where he was, instead of stolen valor, he wouldn't say he went to war. What he would say was he was like the greatest at handing out the lunch plate to the soldiers. You know what I mean? That would be Trump's way of doing that. He wouldn't say that he went to war when he didn't. He would just say that he was the best president. And everybody knows it, because I don't know if you've noticed this. That's a common Trump tactic. He will come out, he will say some embellishing BS shit, and he'll say that everybody knows it. Everybody knows. That's how Trump operates. We have lost Ryan, but what we're going to do in the meantime, try to get back on. I'm going to put this up on the screen. This is happening currently in the UK. For people who don't know, I'll put it up small on the screen. But the UK police commissioner is threatening to extradite and jail Americans for social media posts. Now, they've already done this to their own people. A man recently was sentenced to, I think it was 20 months, almost 2 years imprisonment for a social media post where he had, I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, had something to do with the hotel that was blown up there. And don't get me wrong, the thing that he had said is certain it was threatening. It definitely isn't the kind of thing that he should have been saying on his social media account. So I'm going to no doubt there. But the fact that this man is going to jail for that in the UK for a social media post, and then they are going to take it farther, say that again, I'll pull it back up. They're going to do the same thing to Americans in the UK is absolutely absurd. You cannot come for me, Britain. You cannot come for me for my social media posts. It ain't gonna happen. You could try it if you want, but you ain't gonna get very far. So you're gonna get a shot, but I'm not going anywhere. You're not bringing me to the UK for things that I said online. It's just not happening. Mike, I'm sure your social media will be safe though. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. Don't worry. Trying to get Ryan back on right now.
I don't really have anything to add right now.
Oh yeah, I don't think we introduced the producer. The producer is here, although she can't quite produce yet. So I'm still trying to click away and do the production and talk, which I'm not going to lie, I really would think it is when you're trying to. You can't keep a straight train of thought because you're constantly bouncing back and forth between different screens and trying to do 7 different things at once. We'll talk. Threat manners. What articles threat manners? Are you talking about the UK one, the commissioner? I don't care what it's about, quite frankly. If you are a United Kingdom official, you are not sure what they said. Let's just get that out of the way right now. That ain't happening. Ryan is back. We have retrieved Ryan from the graves of social media.
I'm back. Sorry.
I had to get him out of the gulag because he said some shit in the UK. But don't worry, he is back.
Fucking A, dude.
Ryan, I have now, just so you know, I'm going to catch you back up on a couple minutes. You missed real quick. Just so you know, a couple of things that we had talked about. The battery? Oh, his battery went down. Just so you know, a couple of things we talked about while you were gone. I'm just going to bring it up real quick. Some of the things we talked about was 5G free. Who is in control of America's nukes, Ryan? Is it Biden? Meanwhile, we have Russian ships off the coast of Florida and full in Ukraine and Israel. The world is at its most unstable point, Ryan, since World War II, except now with nuclear weapons, the stakes are 10 times higher. Ryan got out of the screen just so you could get out of the QR code. You can't convince me otherwise. How do people like you and I stay safe? Every prepper, which by the way, I'm not even a prepper. Every prepper, I do recommend prepping, but I'm not going to do it myself because I will have a bunker. It will be impenetrable. Every prepper needs to have RadioGuard ASE, the only FDA-approved drug to treat radioactive fallout. Only the feds have it, Ryan. Only the feds. Ryan, did you get off and give on so the QR code was on my side of the screen? You son of a bitch. That's why we have partnered with 5G Free,
David.
the only company in the world that has a supply of RadioGuard ASE and the ability to prescribe it prophylactically. Get their radiation with RadioGuard ASE, potassium iodide, Zofran, and I don't know how to say this. Is it Geiger? Geiger? Geiger counter. There's simply no other tool in your arsenal to protect against a radioactive threat. Go to 5gfree.com/studio and use codes to save 10%. We have a radiation kit, and so should you. That's 5gfree.com/studio code studio. Ryan, I'm going to put this back on the screen. One of the things you missed was not an ad read. I actually waited for you on that ad read, Ryan. I didn't want you to miss out. The UK, Ryan, is coming for us. I have already done a quick synopsis, but the UK is coming from us. They have sentenced one of their own to prison for 20 months, almost 2 years, for a social media post. But it doesn't stop there. They're not stopping at their own citizens, Ryan. So I'll put it up small on the screen again. The US and jail Americans for social media posts. We will throw the full force of the law at the people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further online, we will come after you.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
is this
for you,
fucking minority? Like, I could be charged with a crime in a different country through the internet.
That's right.
What did the guy say?
He had talked about blowing up a hotel. I think it was a hotel. So again, what I had listen, not smart. I'm just
Was
saying.
there a guy up
not
there
smart.
with a 223
Certainly don't make
round
terrorist
rifle,
threats.
David, just lightly laying down in the most lovely of spots to possibly see a presidential candidate?
No, this is a man who is fed up with Muslim migrants taking over his country.
Oh.
Just for the record.
So clearly an extremist, David. Oh, you don't like the cultural
He's
Marxism
an extreme
that we're
right
importing
winger,
into your
Ryan.
country.
Extreme right wing.
Yeah, right wing. Wasn't that the country that they shut down the elections when they didn't vote the correct way?
It was that or France. I can't remember.
Look,
They
fuck
both
you,
did
England.
something shady.
We beat you in the Olympics. Okay, we beat you in World War we beat you in the Revolution. I'm just kidding. To anybody that thinks this is a good idea. May your chains rest upon you lightly. We're talking about, this is a technocracy. This is a totalitarian technocracy. It's baked in to the electronics at this point. These people. Now, granted, I'm sure the people that are telling you that you can't be X, Y, and Z are doing X, Y, and Z. So do as I say, not as I do. If you don't think this is coming to America, you're wrong there as well. This is Kamala Harris said she's going to go door to door and confiscate guns. I know this has been a wet dream for a while. They hate our freedom. They hate your freedom. You are the carbon they are trying to eliminate. They will stop at nothing. They want to make you a slave. Get in your pods, eat your little bug-filled fucking protein snacks, and play the virtual reality headset. Because we're just firing up weather machines out here to make you think you can't go outside. But in reality, the weather's fine except for the 5 hyper cities that everybody lives in.
And if you don't think they're doing this, they have written books and papers and directed movies to subjugate you, to propagandize you, to believe that this is going to be our reality and there's nothing we can do to change it. When in reality, they are the ones that are socially engineering you to believe that this shit is even acceptable to begin with. I'll say it again, okay? I know this just sounds like arbitrage and that I'm acting like a tough guy on the internet. I will scream I don't care. I will scream at the judge. I will scream at the police officers. I will scream at everybody there. There is no jury of my peers. I'm made in the image of the creator. First man jailed. This is Minority Report.
Let me bring this up. I want to get the exact post right, because Mike's saying it's threatening manner. It was. Don't get me wrong. It was not a great post. He said, "Well, what if he had bombs?" Well, then maybe do the detective work and figure that out.
See, this is the fucking problem, because every
that's
asshole,
that's called an actual crime. So yes,
asshole that shoots up schools and blows buildings up is known by the FBI, but it's the one that they don't know about, right? It's only the right wingers, right? It's bullshit. Edward Snowden told you they do this. They know everything. They have to make exceptions to make you give up your liberty. That's the problem. That's what you don't get. I don't care if he's threatening people. He can threaten everybody. I don't lose freedom because somebody makes fucking threats. It's the opposite of freedom. Oh, look at that guy beating up his wife. I got to lose my ability to defend myself. That's not how it works. My feelings are hurt, so you don't get to talk. That's not how that works. Why do we think you're just go roll over? If you thought that the war of your era would be fighting in a trench like your grandfather, you're wrong. This is the trench. You're in the fucking war, bro. They're coming for the freedom. They want your kids. They're telling you what sex you are. What more do you need? They're telling you the economy's your fault if you're not making money. If you're doing bad and the economy's bad, it's your fault. Dave and I have covered the fucking articles. It's just constant gaslighting. Oh, he was threatening people. So did everybody that shot up a school. You didn't care about him then, though, right? You only cared after he did all the heinous acts so that you could gut me on my fucking freedoms. You know how many people had to fucking die to give you liberty for you to lose it because somebody made a threat and hurt somebody's feelings? Are you serious? You know, people died to give you millions of people, billions of people had to live to give you the right to vote. To say what you... Freedom of speech is not a guarantee, people. Someone made threats. You got to lose yours, David. Tell me how this makes sense. This is the same. This is the equivalent of look at the rich guy, take all his money and give it to the poor people. He had to steal it from the poor people. How'd the rich guy steal the money from the poor people if the poor people didn't even have money to give the rich guy to begin with? But he stole the money from the poorest people. Jeff Bezos, yeah, he got rich because of the poor people. Poor people can't afford Amazon, David. That's weird. No guy I know living on Social Security is ordering fucking Amazon every week. They can barely afford bread in an economy that the Democrats are waiting to roll their sleeves up, even though they've been in power for 4 years and had a Senate majority as Donald Trump was leaving in 2018, 2019, and 2020. The Supreme Court, let's change the Supreme Court ruling. That's in the document too, David. Why they need to be lifetime appointees so that they're not corroded by the political institutions. Nope, they're just Trump judges. But the ones Obama appointed aren't Obama judges. They're just Democrats, David. I don't lose freedom because somebody lost their feeling. Their feelings get hurt or threats are made. That's not how it works. George Bush, they hate us because of our freedom. And then he signs the Patriot Act and guts your freedom. That's not how that works. That's not okay. Liberty once lost is never restored. May your chains rest upon you lightly, Patrick Henry. Give me liberty or give me death. Oh, tough guy on the internet. No, really not. Dave and I have already talked about it. I've already said this shit to be incriminated. If they're coming after this guy, what are they going to do to me? What are they going to do to Dave? I've been pulled for interference in foreign elections. When is that terrorism? You're telling this is what England's telling me, David. I can go to jail for what?
We've
Am I
done a lot.
medical misinformation. If someone dies because they listen to my YouTube video, can I go to jail for fucking manslaughter because they listen to somebody's opinion? Well, you shouldn't be out there giving opinions. I have the right to free speech, goddammit. It doesn't matter. Well, you know, you hurt people's feelings. How rational are people? Holy fuck, man. Do you know why you care about other people's feelings so much? Because the screens that you look at have hijacked your brain. Social media hires people to make the apps more addicted and suck your dopamine receptors till they're fucking flat. That's why you care about people's feelings being hurt. That's all you have left is rage. Your hate hour. It's in George Orwell's 1984. The book that supports right-wing white supremacy, David, of course. It's only the white supremacy novels that speak against tyranny, clearly. With the Lord of the Rings up there. A fantasy story. Jesus Christ. Gotta rewrite Harry Potter for all the gay black people in the middle of fucking England. You know a black person didn't go to England till like the 1800s? Do you know that? That's why there's not black people in fucking England. Literally didn't even see one till 1800. They'll make all the video games have black people in them, though, in England, in the middle of fucking nowhere. How'd they get there? There was no slave trade then. Sorry, Dave, I'm mixing shit up here, but my poisonous Western culture that gave me the ability to speak freely without being arrested for it. Clearly, David, clearly that's the country I live in and the society that I preach and I was told that I'm a part of and I swore to uphold. I'm the extremist, though. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. Thomas Jefferson. There's no jury of my peers. There's no court. I don't care what you say. I don't care if I can't represent myself in the state. Throw me for contempt of court, solitary confinement, rape me in the ass, and kill me by a black guy. I don't care. I don't fucking care. This is crazy. Anybody that looks at this article and can justify anything other than corrupt tyrants are corrupt tyrants. You're an idiot, and you deserve the jail and the death penalty that this guy's going to probably get. They're going to probably kill this guy over this. I'm not calling for violence, YouTube. I'm saying if you think that removing freedom because somebody else is free, it's Crazyville. This will never, eye for an eye never ends. This is not healthy society. This is actually why you have laws, David, is so that this doesn't happen. But I'm the crazy one trying to discuss it in real time, David, trying to figure out what we're told and what we were allowed to believe as we were kids is now being completely contradicted. Do you know what's even crazier is one of those asylum seekers came to Cheektowaga and raped a 13-year-old girl in a hotel that was paid for by United States tax dollars in New York State in particular, in Erie County in particular. But I'm told that we're not supposed to have opinions about that because we're racists. And I didn't even bring up the guy's race. They did.
Well, don't say anything about the hotel, Ryan. You'll go to jail. The 28-year-old
don't say anything about
that
Building
every
7
man
either.
and his dog should smash the fuck out of the Britannia Hotel in Leeds. That was the post. So he called for vandalism at worst, I suppose.
Oh, we're fucked, dude. We're fucked. I've said I can't wait to dismantle Google brick by brick. I'm so in jail in the United Kingdom. What would they expedite? You're telling me, David, that's the United Kingdom.
This is a super.
Dave, you're telling me the United Kingdom would contact United States Embassy and be like, hey, you have somebody that is breaking laws in England on the internet. We're going to expedite them to United Kingdom to be charged under United Kingdom laws.
I would credit it to the West shots. Look at these. These are high quality pictures. This is impressive shit.
They're over here giving a life off Riley.
Taking aim at asylum seekers in another post he wrote. Of us hardworking people earn when it could be put to better use. Yeah, so it sounds like he has a a beef with the asylum
Clearly,
seekers.
clearly threats, David.
I don't know.
Clearly
Any blame?
threats. Censor him. Take his freedom. Take my freedom for even discussing such a thing, David. Shame on me for questioning the official narrative through headline research topics on paid television programming that is paid for by the biggest corporations that ever exist in all of humanity. But I'm told to keep trusting these people. That these people have my interest at heart because they don't want me to be educated enough to stand up to their corrupt system. Out of your fucking mind. People are out of your mind if you think this is
It was a fundamentally racist mindset, Ryan. It's because of the racism.
Fundamentally racism mindset doesn't even exist. That doesn't even exist. It's not even a real thing. It's a political term.
Oh, we've defined it with psychology,
No,
David. I thought psychology didn't matter, everybody. It only matters when you can put me in jail for a mental illness with your fucking red flag laws, you pricks.
It's not a law-free zone. I'm assuming that's reference to social media.
Oh, they just get all of our money, David. They're just funded by global governments, but I can't.
There's no global tax. We just have global tax for social media, David. It's just funded by global government. A law-free zone does this.
Those who incite violence online will be prosecuted. This is not the online is not a law-free zone. Yeah. Holy shit.
The only violence that I'm protesting is against tyrants and royalty. Royalty must go.
I just gotta say, for the UK commissioner, is Rumble's social media, right? Rumble's social media.
I don't know. Fuck that guy. Not going to tell us what to do, Dave. We're Americans, David.
Yeah,
clearly, we have the right to free speech guaranteed by the rights of my government, David. It's right behind you on the sheet of paper. They all swore to uphold that little sheet of paper there, David.
At risk of being online and being arrested by the UK commissioner for saying things online, if you even come anywhere near this house to arrest me for anything I say online, I will be actually violent. They're not going to, because it's bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. It's
not gonna be violent.
For somebody from the UK, I will knock his shitty teeth right out of his head. Listen, here's the thing. It doesn't matter because they say this shit in a threatening manner because they just want to quiet you enough. They just want to make the threat. By the way, they're the ones being threatening. They want to make the threat. What did we talk about last week, Ryan? Political violence. It's a two-way street. How are they going to uphold this threat to us? It's through violence only. It's the only way they're going to have because how are they going to take you if you resist violently?
Oh, peacefully.
So yes,
David.
you are threatening us with political violence by saying that we can't have our freedoms online. We don't have a right to free speech online in our own country when you're from a separate country entirely. So fuck you, fuck your shitty hotel, the Britannia, and fuck all your migrants. There, how's that sound?
Yeah, there's a reason you're an island, okay? Because even the rest of Europe didn't want your shit and just said, fuck this geography.
Speaking of censorship online, want to cover this quickly. Susan Wojcicki died of something. I don't know, probably she had cancer. I'm sure it was turbo cancer from the vaccines. She died. She was on the front line of censorship and social media, so fuck her too. Ryan Rogan. I'm sorry. Did you want to add to that?
No, I just remember coming on here and saying that that woman stepped down. I remember covering it, and I think loosely at the time I just said, like, I don't know what will come of this, if censorship or whatever, but because this was all during like 2020 when they were under fire for the medical stuff that, especially particular tied to Rogan, how there's all these narratives and then social media tried to get on. So at the time, I just loosely remember covering it as a way that this woman was not just stepping down. I think her reasoning was to spend more time with family. Now, granted, if she was dying in cancer, obviously that makes a lot more sense now. If that really was it, instead of turbo cancer, David, clearly, maybe if she got the right information, David, she'd be alive today. But, you know, we got to put me in jail.
But unfortunately,
for 20
she
months
censored all the correct
history.
information from her platform.
Well,
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't know it was
that's a
correct,
shame.
David.
That's a shame.
We didn't. We were
Should have listened to us.
unaware.
You'd be okay.
Hey, you'd be alive today without turbo cancer and myocarditis. Yeah, what variant of COVID's going around? Yeah, Omicron. That's what you got. Great.
Ryan, do that thing you do where you talk for a while. I'm gonna pull up X because I want to pull up this Rogan clip on RFK Jr.
Yeah, dude. The Rogan.
I
There's some
think-
Rogan Trump
have
beef as well too.
Basically, Rogan very nice things. Trump supporters had a meltdown over it.
Yeah, so that's what this is about. I can't wait for him to get booed at
Yeah.
UFC. Rogan will
Yeah,
get
which-
booed.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Is it here?
There's blacks in England. For the record, I said when blacks were first in England, there's a difference. There's a difference. Blacks were not always in England.
Hold on. He's gonna be excited. We're talking about RFK. Hold on.
There are
For the
blacks in
record,
England, just like there are whites in
I
South
have nothing
Africa.
against RFK Jr.
100%.
Just to put that out there.
Right? Did you read that article? I don't read articles.
Just to put
That's
this out there,
propaganda.
I have nothing against RFK Jr.
No one's coming for my gun. It's never going to happen. Right? They'll just make it so hard to own the gun that I will never have one. It's part of the fucking problem.
No one's coming for your guns.
Someone ruins it for everybody
after
else. You
they've come for
don't
the guns.
lose.
Listen,
you
they've already
don't
had
lose
they've
freedom,
had
bro.
assault weapons bans. How is that not coming for the guns?
I agree with him about the article.
All right, let's play
Obviously,
this,
I don't want
let's
hotels getting
play
blown
some.
up, but I agree with you. I agree with the premise of like this guy getting in
Here's
trouble
a-
for what he said. It's just the idea that we all lose freedom and we set a precedent that you can jail anybody because I've already seen the slippery slope of dissent that they don't like. I mean, we can't even have open discussions on platforms now that are claiming to be free speech platforms like X. So it's a falsity, it's a lie, it's a cop out, and they're using the 1% to broad brush control over the other 99%. I should not lose freedom because somebody else is an asshole. That's it. Just because my next door neighbor commits a murder doesn't mean that I just get my house broken into by police officers and raided and they look at everything. Blacks were in. Look up Middle Ages Europe and black and black people.
You want me to look this up?
No, Mike, I'm telling Mike that, dude, look, I've heard this from historians.
Oh.
Like, I'm not fucking making this up. Did Romans import black people for slaves? Probably. I'm talking in like, first of all, it wasn't even called England back then. England didn't exist. England only existed in like we're talking like 1100s when it was founded after the Dark Ages. Like it was just a bunch of different kingdoms. It wasn't even its own kingdom. The United Kingdom is its name because it was a kingdom of 5
By the way,
kingdoms.
that's
There was no black people in the Middle
It's-
Ages in Europe. Which is the reason I reference that is because this is like all of the shit, the Enlightenment, all that stuff. After the Dark Ages of Europe, it birthed the Enlightenment, which brought back all the old ideas and the redestruction of everything.
the thing that's important to note is when
Living
we're
in
talking
Britain
about certain
for
things. If you
over
have
2,000 years.
if you have I don't know, call it whatever you want to call it, hundreds of thousands, millions of white people, and you have less than 500 black, like it. If you have less than X amount at some point, they basically don't exist. You know what I mean? Like if it's such a
Yes,
minority, to that
population
extent.
per capita, yes.
We're not
1
talking-
million. 1 million black people spread across 100 million black people is not a fucking significant. I'm saying like fucking.
Yeah, we're not talking 13%, 10%.
Probably wasn't even 2%, dude. I don't know. Like,
So just to be clear, let's
also Google will tell you anything.
Let's
Like,
play
go
this
to a
real quick.
That's
history
just what
book.
that's politics. They don't let you on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas. He's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was an environmental attorney and cleaned up the East River. I mean, he's a legitimate guy. You know, before anybody started calling him an anti-vaxxer, which I thought he was too. I thought he was this nut, this like conspiracy theorist nut until I read his book. I read The Real Anthony. It's all real. This is fucking insane. And we live in a world where we're being manipulated by these health organizations that are being paid by the pharmaceutical drug interests. And these pharmaceutical drug companies are pumping these products out into the pellets that we need them and then making insane amounts of money. And then also the government is in on it. And also they share a patent with Moderna. And also they share profits. And there's $700 million. 700. I mean, however much money was made that these guys made off of these products. Like this is all of it is fucking crazy. There's the revolving door between the CDC and the FDA and then these pharmaceutical drug companies. So the people that make the regulations then go on to have these cushy jobs with the pharmaceutical drug corporations. Like, oh, nothing to see here. It's like it's open. And when he talks about all that stuff in his book, you're just like, what the fuck, man? If this wasn't true, he would be sued.
Yeah. But
so it seems to be true.
Yeah.
And it's a scary thing because people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be attacked. You know, they don't want to be called an anti-vaxxer. That's a big one.
Right.
You know, you.
LOL at the fact that you can only get sued for telling lies. LOL. They'll sue you for the truth too. RFK, look, Buff Mike. I have told Dave this on this program. Like I like RFK. Like that's the guy that like I actually go to the policy and be like, I don't like this policy about him. But yeah, it's just they're not trying to jail him like Trump. I can't let the guy get shot at and try to get jailed and bankrupt and not vote for him. I'm sorry. I can't in good conscience. I just can't do that. And RFK's campaign just disappeared.
Yeah,
right?
I got just. Yeah, that article was crazy. The RFK, it's just out of the blue. It disappeared. It didn't disappear. It's still there. He still has fans. He still has. You know what? What helps make it disappear when you don't allow him to debate with you on stage. That'll help. Yeah, I like RFK Jr. In general, I think he seems to me like a legitimate, honest. I don't know. I wouldn't say a regular guy. I mean, let's be clear, he's a Kennedy. He grew up in the know, but he seems like a guy with good intentions. Somebody that is relatively trustworthy. There's a shit pile of policies. If we were to go policy by policy, there's a pile of them that I would go no. But there's the vax thing. He's outstanding. He is in understanding, which I guess will happen when the CIA assassinates your uncle. But he is in the understanding that the government is corrupt and evil and they're out to get you. And that I'm a fan of. But outside of that, I don't know. Plenty of stuff I'm not a huge fan of. So I don't know. I don't mind him if people are going to vote for him. You know, whatever. You go do your thing, I guess. That's fine. I like him particularly more than the Libertarian candidate, which I hate to say as much as we interviewed Dr. Mike Termott, who's the VP for the Libertarian Party, and I really liked him a lot. He seems like a solid dude. Not a fan of the main candidate, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm with you, Ryan. If I'm looking for a guy who I think is most likely to go after the source of all the world's problems, which is the United States government, it's probably going to be the guy that they try to put in jail and assassinate. To me, that seems like he's the most riskiest towards the elites, right? If he's getting shot at and trying to be thrown in jail, he seems like the guy. So I don't know. RFK is fine, but I don't know. He hasn't been shot at or sent to jail for some reason, I would imagine. Our producer has to pee. It's fine though, because I'm still doing everything.
You're producing. Good. I finished my
Yo, I love that she's like being an account, like
We've
an
established speed
assistant.
corners in the
when
news.
she's supposed to
We
be.
have not. I'm gonna go upstairs and use the bathroom.
You just got bottles down there, David.
I might be back.
This one will be empty in a few minutes if you want to use the Shiwi.
No, because I'll get it on myself. It doesn't have a thing to go in.
It doesn't go inside.
What do you mean?
I don't know the Shiwi. I thought that like it.
Go inside? It's like a funnel.
Well, then why can't you just use a regular funnel?
Because the hole, it'll get everywhere.
Apparently, it gets everywhere. We were designed differently. That's why trannies are mentally ill. Rogan, we talked to Rogan. We've gone
It's pretty close to Pee Wee,
Oh, so
like
we're an hour
a
and a
little
half in,
dick.
right?
You know, nobody.
I mean, it is kind of a little dick. That's kind of what it is.
Is this the record now?
I think we're on the record. Are we on the
Yeah.
record?
Yeah. Rogan Trump beef. Look, I don't know what's
I think
going on.
records are
If that
Found out.
if that RFK clip is what started the inklings and the rumbling of the beef between Rogan and Trump,
Yes.
we should be unifying in the space, people. Ben Shapiro has done such a good job of making you all believe that it's just this big game of Veep. Okay? Whoever is advising whoever to advise whoever about advising needs to shut the fuck up. This isn't hard. These people are trying to make you a slave and make everything so expensive that you have to go to government for a subsidy. It's not hard to figure out. Still waiting for my invite to
Oh, that
give you
sounds
my record.
Sounds very. That sounds very. I don't know if that's an innuendo. That sounds very sexual. Mike wants to give you his record, Ryan.
His record, is that his dick's name? The record. Yeah, Rogan, Trump hate. Yo, figure it out. Lex Friedman is interviewing Trump. Lex Friedman also did like a 9-hour podcast with a Neuralink, Elon Musk, and other people. It was crazy. I didn't listen to it. I just caught clips of him with Elon. Elon endorsed Trump. Trump is going to be on Lex. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that will be like substantially long. Like I'm sick of 1-hour Trump interviews. I need like a 4-hour podcast of Trump, like just cranking it. I know he's a busy guy, but we gotta come. This shit's gotta come to a head. Like I said, we have to stop responding. He has to get ahead of it.
You guys are being wildly inappropriate right now. There
Who's us?
is a Trump and Elon Musk interview tomorrow, Ryan. I don't know if apparently there's a closing ceremony. Are you aware of this? I haven't seen this yet. This must have like just happened. I don't know.
Tell me it's a rainbow.
Okay. I don't know what fucking as wildly as atrocious as the opening ceremony, I suppose. I don't know what the
Yeah,
fuck
we're
that
all the
was.
Greek. We're all the gay Greek gods, David, for the closing ceremony, sucking each other off. Tim
Yeah, it
Pool's
should have
X
been a big
account.
finish at the end, right?
Yeah, come shut. Tim Pool's X account. Look, I say this guys
Just-
all the time. Tim Pool. I know you're very decorative in the space. Great. But I think you missed the point, bro. I really do think you missed the point on some stuff, dude. That's all. Kamala Harris gonna win. I don't know, Dave. I think they'll steal anything. Michael Malice was on JRE, and that was part of their discussion. I plan to watch some of that. I caught a couple clips of that, but that was going to be more of a meaty podcast. I wanted to record this one before I listened to it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We are in full swing of election season officially. Don't wait for a November surprise because they come every day now. Jordan Peterson and re-education, the Supreme Court in Canada, I'm pretty sure rejected. Jordan Peterson was supposed to go to have his psychology license or his clinical practitioner, whatever the fuck it is. Excuse me. In Canada to practice psychology.
Yeah,
and be a clinician. So he had to go to basically he's calling it a re-education camp. I actually think that some of the re-education literature is actually at the state level there, at the national level in Canada, they actually call it re-education. Regardless, the Supreme Court ruled that Jordan Peterson will have to go to re-education. He tried to appeal it or something. So partner Jordan Peterson and the UK guy in the same week, pretty interesting. The Olympic medals. Two things about the Olympics. I seen an article that talked about one of the athletes had a medal for a week and it started to deteriorate. So maybe they sourced the same medal from China that they used to build the Boeing airplanes and the Boeing spaceships that can't get off the ground without twisting. So clearly.
Well, we'll never know because the man committed suicide, sadly.
Well,
both men died. They both. Two whistleblowers for Boeing lost their lives tragically, randomly, after they blew the whistle for Boeing. All coincidence, all Veep.
They were just the quality control guys, David. No problem. It's not like they have problem with quality there at the company. The plane is just still stuck in space.
No issues at all. Doors don't fall off.
All jokes aside about deteriorating Olympic gold medals and bronze medals and everything else, and maybe they're plant-based medals, David. The Olympics also had no booze. I seen an article, and there was a guy there with his family, and he was walking around, and he's like, I could really go for a beer right now. And he went to the concession stand, and they didn't have it. And they just talked about how there's this pretty big gap between sports around the world and sports in America, how we just get obliterated at sporting events. I thought it was hilarious. I also thought it was just indicative of a lot of our culture here in America that apparently nobody knows about, but we are fucking alcoholics, and we literally made alcohol illegal, and then people still made alcohol and they had to make it legal. NASCAR came out of bootlicking and running fucking moonshine back and forth and upgrading the cars and rednecked them. And so I just think it's ironic that, you can't go over to Paris and get a pint when you're watching the rugby game. So America for the win again. I'm glad we won most gold medals and most overall medals. Fuck the rest of the world. I didn't watch any of the Olympics other than the highlights. So,
dude,
whatever.
People to your prohibition point, people in the last 2 centuries have fought harder to get drunk again than they have for almost anything else.
Yeah, what do we do now that we got freedom?
Well,
we'll outlaw alcohol. Well, this sucks. Well, what are we going to do now? We'll fight for alcohol again, Trump-Harris debate is happening September 4th on Fox. Dave and I will be live on Rumble Studio covering that, so tune in. We should be in 10 or 15 minutes before that drops, and we will always be there doing all of the laughing and drinking challenges for you, so you do not have to, and you can be responsible. Most importantly, more than anything, that's what from my news, is the 4th.
Why did I think it was the 10th? Was it originally the 10th between Biden and?
I mean, it could have got moved from when I saw the 4th. What I saw may have been just speculation on the time, but it was a Fox News debate. Trump agreed, and I believe there's an audience here this time. That's not just
If I,
Your down
okay,
in the front row.
if I'm not mistaken, Trump had originally agreed to a September 10th debate with Biden. Biden was no longer the candidate, and Kamala Harris anointed herself as the candidate without anybody voting for her. Trump pulled out of the September 10th debate, said, "I will do it on the 4th with Fox News." Kamala, I don't think, ever agreed to that, and then Trump went back and said, "Fine, let's do the 10th." If I'm not mistaken, but it's on the 10th. We'll go live. Hopefully, Rumble. We have not had good luck. I'm just saying, Rumble, love a lot of the things about you. Your servers are not one of them. We haven't had luck. We will try. I should say this. We'll try to stream and debate live on the 10th.
Yeah.
But who knows if Rumble servers will allow that to happen? And by allow, I mean if they have the capability.
Yeah. So we'll go with that. I have a generation rant, but I'm not going to do that now. So I could probably spend 45 minutes on fucking generations right now. And then last thing before we get out of here, Mr. Beast, how many of your friends have to be fucking creeps before you think that they're all creeps? Taylor Swift can get AI generated images of her pornography swiped from the internet. Mr. Beast can hide all his kiddie porn all he wants. Believe me. I don't have his Decembertainment this week other than the show Shogun. I watched a couple episodes, but short of that, yeah, Dave Ryan, December 1773. Catch us on Rumble Studios for the weekly show. As always, David, I appreciate you most for your time, and I will see everybody next time. Buy the coffee. Go get your roof in Fort Lauderdale done. And don't forget to get your iodine tablets from 5G Free.
5G Free. Use code studio, everybody. Thanks for watching with us. We're going to try to do some more sporadic throughout the week ones. For example, the 10th. I'd like to cover Trump and Elon, but it's like so last minute. I don't know if we're going to be able to. And then, of course, every Sunday we're going to be right here. We're going to be right here with all of you doing the show. You gave a face.
We'll be here until we're atomic ash. Dave Ryan, December 1773. Catch us on Rumble for the weekly show.
Or until the UK commissioner gets us. Thanks,
Yo,
everyone.
also, fuck the Bills. They suck.